guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've not done it already, click the subscribe button and follow me across all my social media platforms. Links are in the description box below. Very close to 300 subs. Click the subscribe button, that helps out a lot. Okay guys, let's get it over the line. But we've got great news today guys, extremely great news. Okay, Dillian Whyte has been awarded his mandatory position, his mandatory fight against Tyson Fury. Okay, the details of it's still to be announced with regards to just the official split. Apparently it's going to be 80-20, something along those lines. Asked me this last year, I would have told you this is bonkers. Like, what, 80-20? No, Dillian Whyte doesn't earn it. Dillian Whyte earns a little less than Tyson Fury, but not that much less. It's about 60-40, something along those lines. But I just clocked it right now, yeah, as I said it, that Tyson Fury's been on some marketing trip, you know. He's had a tour, you know. He's had a big tour at this moment in time. I think his last stop was in Manchester or something along those lines. His uncle is having a sort of get together, costing around £150 a seat or something along those lines. Crazy, you know. I admire them. I admire the work ethic, but you know, the Fury versus the Dillian fight depends on AJ. If AJ was to take this step aside, then that fight's not taking place. The Usyk versus Fury fight will take place. If AJ takes that step aside, I'm gonna be, on one hand I'm gonna be a little disappointed, but on the other hand he's got to have a fight. He's got to have a fight. He's not. I don't want to hear no step aside and just a blank, you know, part of your calendar. We need to hear step aside, and you're taking this fight, a good opponent, maybe a southpaw cruiserweight. Okay, I think there's a Chinese fella, southpaw, half decent, but he's a cruiserweight. Bring him up to heavyweight and deal with him. You know, he may show you a few tricks that would really help you. You know, transferable skills, shall we say, yeah, that will help you to defeat Alexander Usyk. But as regards to Dillian versus Tyson Fury, Dillian, I just see this going to precipice, guys. No negotiations are going to be agreed on this fight. And if it does, I'll eat my humble pie, okay? I'll get from Tesco. Let me know where I can buy some humble pie, because I'll just get some, isn't it? Let me know if it's got too much sugar as well, because I'm trying to cut down on the weight as well. But regardless, that's fight's going to precipice. It's going to delay a little bit, but hopefully, you know, precipice will go well. But the last fight that went to precipice was Teofimo Lopez Cambosos, and that just dragged on an extra 6 months. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be that same case, and I think Eddie needs to do everything that he can within his power to at least negotiate a fight. Because if it goes to the wilderness, you know, some mad people are going to bid on that fight, and those mad people, when they bid on that fight, yo, the WBC can't turn around and say no, we can't do it. It just gets sold to the highest bidder. So it is what it is. But that's some great news with regards to Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury. We also have a little concerning news with regards to Frank Warren. Now, with Frank, I think Frank has been gradually on the decline. Yeah, shout out Jammer. Yeah, for quite some period of time, and I think this is quite significant for Frank, because if Frank doesn't get his stuff together, he's going to be left behind. Okay, we've got Eddie Hearn leaving. Pretty much, he's left Frank behind with regards to the quality of the shows, the competitiveness of it, and the caliber of fighters that they have in this stable, and the amount of shows that they're doing. I think Eddie's blowing him out of the water. But now you've got Boxer involved with Sky Sports. Pro William hopping into the scene. If Frank doesn't get his stuff together, he's going to be left behind. Yeah, he might just turn into like Leeds United. Back in the day, they were great. They just had to. They literally just flopped down the divisions, about 2-3 divisions or wherever it is, and then they joined the Premier or rejoined the Premier League. What, 16 years later? He might just turn into that. Albeit by the time he comes back, he's got to look left, he's got to look right, and things will be different. But Frank needs to get his stuff together, okay? And I'm talking about the Lyndon Arthur debacle with Anthony Yard. Okay, they had a little agreement in place prior to the fight, that if Lyndon would have won, Lyndon would have stayed on with Frank, and they would have had 2-3 fights, probably including a world title fight. Okay, sound, no problem. If he would have lost though, they would have terminated the contract right then and there, or they had an agreement to part ways. Now Frank's come under a lot of stick. It looks as though you've been like, sort of dashed to the side. It's a bit like if someone says, if you don't score 10-50 goals this season, you don't play for us next season. Straight up. Not even that. It's like, if you don't win this match, you're not gonna play for the rest. Like, we're just gonna get rid of you. Yeah. And it's a sad reality with regards to Frank Warren and Lyndon. Well, Frank wants to sort of clear it up. He said, I would have cleared up the matter. I'm being told that it's been brought up by social media, where it's been said that I've been harsh releasing Lyndon following his defeat. The fact is that Lyndon had won the rematch. If Lyndon would have won the rematch, he would have been pushed forward in the same way Anthony would have been pushed forward at the moment. So no question about it. However, his team requested that in the event of defeat, he'll be released, and we agreed to this. Okay, he said that the relationship was great, but unfortunately, previous strong relationships have been strained. So basically, there's been a breakdown of relationships, and to have a breakdown relationship, we've seen Frank and Pat Barrett. Pat Barrett is on a rise. Yeah, despite the fact of Lyndon losing, Pat Barrett's actually on the rise with Black Flash Promotions. They're doing a lot of good stuff. Yeah, so, and there's people who are kind of on the same level as Pat Barrett with regards to Black Flash Promotions, newer promoters. There's your Dean Whytes of the world, etc., and other sort of promoters who are joining the game or entering the scene. Now look at this and be like, raw, if this is how you treated my man, yo, imagine that's me. And they'll be like, right, there's another opportunity elsewhere, how are we gonna go elsewhere? Do you know what I wanna ask? Frank had an agreement, okay, between himself and Lyndon Arthur, provided that if Lyndon Arthur would have lost, they would have parted ways. But I wanna ask this one question. What happens if Anthony Yard would have lost? That's a great question. If Anthony Yard would have lost, what next? Like, what would have happened? Would it been the next sort of like divorce? Would have been sort of taken down another route? Maybe speak with some of the other governing bodies to maybe push for some sort of world title shot like that, or would he have been sort of dashed to the curb? I would have that would be a great question to ask. Hopefully Frank is listening and can elaborate. But it's a sad reality between Frank, man. If he doesn't get his stuff together, he's going to be left behind by Eddie and all of his mates. And last bit of news that we've got for today: Jack Catterall versus Josh Taylor, aka the undisputed UK champ. I think he's the first ever undisputed champ in the 4-belt division era, to my understanding. The first ever Scottish undisputed champ. Spencer Fury's gotta, if he sees this, yeah, and I get it wrong, he's gonna cuss me out. Plus as well, I think he's the youngest ever undisputed champion ever. So he's defended his belts against Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall, decent fighter, okay, underrated but decent fighter. But I just think that Josh Taylor is levels above. I understand this is a mandatory, but it'd be good for Josh to defend his belts now. But I want him to move up. To be fair, I want him to move to 147 and compete with those type of guys, because that's where the excitement is. You've got Crawford, you've got Porter's away from the scene now. You've got Ugas, Errol, you've got Danny Garcia, you've got a bag of people, man. You've got Ennis, Boots, you've got a lot of people in the welterweight scene. So if he wants to move up, he could become great. If he cleans that division up, Josh, wow, that is impressive. If he beats Errol Spence, Crawford, and the rest of them, that will be amazing. Yeah, that will be amazing. But thank you for watching this video. Peace, love, prosperity. I'm gonna see you guys in a bit. Peace.